Okay, we are live. So I want to welcome all our viewers here today. I'm about a minute early. I hope you're on. I don't see anybody here yet, but I do want to include you in this in our interview today with Michele, who's an up and coming artist in this area and has done quite well for herself. And I think you'll enjoy this interview. I know a lot of you watch it afterwards, and so it'll be out there for you and it'll be posted on YouTube as well. So I'd like to give a little shout out to our sponsor, Luscious Moss Studio, owned and operated by Chad Christ and Edward Washington. He specializes in drum recording and guitar recording, and he has created a kind of ambiance that stimulates creativity and collaboration. And in fact, on the 9th, I'll be collaborating with 3 musicians on a song that I'm writing. So with all that, let's introduce Kira again. Kira Michele, I would like to ask you a question about how you got here. A little bit about, what your first instrument was and how, and I do see someone out there. Hello person, please identify yourself. And how you got so good in such a short period of time that you even made it on my show as a matured musician.
Just very, very quick and simple. I started playing guitar at 7, and I started writing at 11, and singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" when I was 3. I don't know.
Yeah, get it.
I met my manager, Shad Woodman. He's the owner of Decade Sound Studios in Tacoma, and I met him 5 years ago, and he's taught me a heck of a lot. And then I started investing in a bunch of courses, like probably, I don't know, a lot of courses, like probably $10,000 worth of knowledge and courses and money and ad spend and all that stuff. So I've worked really hard to learn things.
So, was there any other than "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star"? Was there anything does any one or any song or any group that stimulated your creativity and got you really cranked up to do this kind of thing? Because this is a lot of work, as you know.
I think it was more of I had a lot of artists that I really liked, and I would watch artists like Lady Gaga perform. And then, I don't know. I don't really know. I went through a lot as a child, and so I just wrote through the whole thing. And I didn't really know what I wanted. All I knew is I just wanted to share my music. And when I met my manager, there was like an opportunity put in front of me that I've never seen before for music. And I was like, there's no way I'm wasting this. Now, he didn't do all the work for me. He did some of it, and he did a lot of it as far as the recording goes and teaching me marketing. But then I took everything he taught me and I put it on steroids, and I just started learning and learning and learning and learning. And then once I learned a lot, I started teaching other people. So there's that.
That's how you got there. We do want to give a shout out and say hello to Chris Jones, who tuned in, and even say hi. So, Chris Jones.
Yeah. I performed with them one time. I don't remember. Oh, Garfield Street Fair or something like that, like 3 years ago, and he was pretty good.
Powerhouse. He is. I haven't gotten to see him. I was going to go out to Conway where he was performing this Saturday, and we got tire problems. We're down to one car, got an accident. I don't have a car now, just my husband. And his car is 7 years old, so, he needs stuff. But I first met you at a Mexican restaurant at a Billy Shoe Jam. Do you remember that place in Tacoma?
Me?
Yeah. And I was sitting on a stool, and I didn't like going up in front of people, and so yeah, that was me.
Yeah, I remember with Billy Shoe.
Yes, and I want to tell people out there who are listening, even if you may not be listening at this moment, you will see it later, that this girl has come leaps and bounds from where she was. But the one thing that stuck with me is that you said, yes, you come up there. You had no idea what I was going to play.
I don't really know how to. I
Isn't it
don't
beautiful?
really know how to jam either.
Oh,
I was more of a I play the songs that I know kind of
right.
person. But Billy told me what the chords were, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this.
Yes. Well, it made me happy. And so from that point on, you had a fan, and I was following your career as best I could. I just didn't know that you had teamed up with Shad. I'm always confusing him with Chad, and that you had gone so far. I mean, when I met you later, you were saying that you were going to be giving lessons, and the lessons that you had learned in marketing were something I needed because I just finished and I had my music out there, and it was like, okay, now what? I mean, I was watching this. There's got to be something more. And you walked into my life and changed an awful lot of it. First of all, you inspired me to believe in myself. And now I'm not afraid to go on stage by myself, by the way. Thanks to you.
Wow, this
Yes.
is fantastic.
Yes. And I'm not so much more confident about my playing. I wasn't at the time. But after your lessons first started with Lyle, and he was so beyond me that I had to change to one of the guys that used to be my old lead. And he's been giving me lessons for almost a year now. So, yeah, I've gained a lot more confidence. But just to get up there, that was you.
Well, that I can help. It feels good to know that I helped somebody. All I really have done is I just worked really, 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 really hard. And I'm not a musician that thinks, all right, well, I'm going to sit on my butt and go play at bars and expect to get signed. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work like that.
No,
It
it
will.
doesn't.
It just doesn't. So I just learned a lot because I wanted actual results. And then once I started getting them, I started teaching other people how to get the results. So, and you put to work everything that I've taught. And that's why you have 500, almost 500 members in your group here.
I have on my page, I have, I'm almost up to 400. The ads are still running on Country Hot Facebook page too.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and I want to tell everybody that may be listening later, and Chris, that the idea to interview musicians in this area actually came from you. That was one of the first things that you taught me.
Because I created a group called You Are Not Alone. So I
Yes.
created a movement and then merchandise, and I've been running that whole movement for a year. And so now people are catching on, and then I started doing shows like that. And I was like, you know what? This is super powerful because now that whole group that you have look at you as the authority.
Well, I don't know about that.
They look at you as the owner of the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they pay more attention to you posting than someone else posting.
Yeah. 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 So now I think I'm lost a little bit on what you've been doing because, girl, you go at warp speed, and I'm always tailing behind, trying to figure out where the heck you are. But
Dude, I don't even know where I am.
I know you have the group You Are Not Alone, because I belong to that. And then I noticed just a few days, was it a week ago, that you had another group going on that I joined. I don't remember what the name of it was. What was the
It's
other
called
one?
The Independent Artist.
Yeah.
And that's where I qualify. How do I say this in very, very. Basically, every single person who's joined that group has made the decision that they want help with their music. And so I provide value, and I have a course that teaches everything you would need to know about YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Spotify and how to become full-time. I've booked $2,300 worth of gigs in the last 3 weeks, and it's not stopping. I have 3 more that just requested, and they're all at $800 a piece. So I teach other musicians how to do the same thing and how to book local shows that actually have people. I'm never gonna play a show again where there's no one there, or 5 people or 10 people. I'm not doing it. It takes just as much effort to play and set up for 10 people as it does to set up for 1,000 people. And so my goal is I'm only going to be playing with artists that are serious, bands that have a pull, and I'm not going to play with artists that aren't as serious as I am, because I'm wasting my time, I think.
Absolutely. So you've got You Are Not Alone, and you got this. I'm sorry, what was the name of this?
It's the independent artist, but I'm actually creating another movement for Christians, because I'm a Christian. Jesus is definitely my Lord and Savior, and I identify myself as the child of the one true King, and that's very important to me. So I'm going to create another movement for people who believe in Jesus, and actively have them a part of their life, so that I can motivate Christians as well. I don't know what that's going to be called yet. Maybe Jesus Saves, or Peace Over Fear, something like that. So I'll figure that out. But it's important to have a movement and community. It just really is.
And there was something about one of your sponsors that I thought was really, really interesting. A lot of the people that you interview on You Are Not Alone have issues. Is that correct? They're musicians who've fought big battles and won, or still fighting battles. Can you tell me a little bit more about the You Are Not Alone, and how you got involved with this mental health sponsor?
Yeah, you Are Not Alone is actually not just for musicians. It's for anybody that has gone through something and they're comfortable with sharing about their battle and mental health. And so I haven't done interviews for like a couple months, because I was going through a lot. But now things are starting to get better, and I'm going to start those interviews back in January.
Okay.
But it's just people who have struggled with mental health. And my sponsor is the National Association of Mental Health. And how that happened was, someone reached out to me when they saw my movement, and I got in contact with the top person in the nonprofit organization, and they want to help. So, I've been raising money for them at shows. I've been naming every single concert I do from here on out is going to be called You Are Not Alone, because I want to be associated with that.
Absolutely.
And I started it because I had a very bad traumatic episode that happened this summer, where I was so low that I tried taking my life or whatever. And then I went into a mental institution because of it. They put me in there because I tried doing that. And when I looked around and realized that I'm not like these people, I'm just in pain. I realized that, wow, it's time to make a change. So I started being okay with taking medicine and going to counseling, and my whole life has completely transformed. And so I want people who are struggling and have struggled just like me, to know that, dude, don't try to kill yourself. Like, you aren't alone. Other people feel the same way. So I think it's helped some people.
I spent some time as a suicide counselor for domestic violence survivors. And, that is paralyzing when you're in that place. And I've been there. Now, I pick up the suicide crisis line and call when I have to. But I've been in that place where it's really dark, and it's just impossible to get past the point of the down feeling that you have, that you're worthless, that the way to stop the pain is to take your life. And I got involved with that because my 19-year-old son committed suicide, and he shot himself, and he had his whole life before him. And he was in Utah, I was in Wisconsin, and he called me to tell me he loved me. The next day I found out he was dead. I mean, it was a shock, just beyond. So I get it, and I understand it, and I have my own struggles with it from time to time. I mean, it's not unusual for people who have traumatic stress disorder to feel like that, and or any other disorder. I have a daughter who's a firefighter, and she's seen stuff no person should see. I mean, firefighters see things that you and I don't even talk about. And she suffers with that, and goes through periods of depression. And yeah, they need people out there like you to support them. And I know what your support has done for me, so I can imagine what your support is doing for those people on that program.
Oh, man, that was a lot. Holy moly. I honestly, I could sit here and say I'm so sorry for what happened, but I think you've heard that enough. I think you've probably come to a place where maybe you've accepted it, but
Yeah,
life goes on. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You can't do anything about someone's choice.
right.
But
Yeah, absolutely. I have. And yeah,
the group that I made, You Are Not Alone, I don't charge or anything. There's nothing in there besides like merchandise or a CD that you can purchase. There's nothing that I'm doing out of selfishness in that group. The only thing that I could say would be selfish is I need it just as much as other people.
right.
So I know that it helps me too. So if that's selfish, then I guess I'm selfish.
But then again, musicians, that's what we do. We share our inner feelings and thoughts through our music with other people. And, that's kind of the whole basis of what and who we are.
Hmm.
So, yes, we did have another person in here, and they must have bounced back out again. It was Bob Kettrick, and I'd hoped he'd stay on to hear this because I was hoping he's just starting to record music, and I was hoping he'd listen so that he'd be able to see what you offer and maybe contact you. So we'll see. Anyway,
Well, thank you.
you're welcome. So moving along, there is these things that you're doing, I think for clarity for people who may not understand, is that your music has a lot of depth and it stirs up a lot of emotions in people simply because of the beauty of your voice, for one thing. And second of all, because it's coming from something inside you and you deliver it in such a way through your music that it's like, okay, I better listen here. There's something important going on. So, yeah. I think there is something that you said. Maybe in one of the independent artist group that you were talking about how your music is on these subjects, and that some of the things that you've experienced in your life are being portrayed through your music, and that's how this all got started. Was the fact that you're combining the two in a way to reach out to people and explain and listen to what they have to say about their experiences, correct?
Yeah, my music is about my message too. It was my music first before me realizing what my message was. But once the last 5 years, I mean, the beginning of this year was 4 years, but the last 5 years now, I've been performing a heck of a lot and meeting a lot of people. And I hear all the time about how my music is healing. I mean, every single show I do, there's multiple people crying. And it's not because I'm mean, which I can be, but it's not because I'm mean. It's because my music really touches people. And I had a hard time accepting the fact that I got so much good feedback. It was ridiculous. Like, my close rate for CDs is probably about 60-70% of the people that watch me at a show will buy a CD.
CD.
I have one of the highest close rates of the people that I know that I've done actual shows with. I have never seen someone sell as many CDs as I have at a show. And I'm not just saying that to be
Yeah.
preppy. I'm being completely honest. I have seen how the music impacts people, so I'm trying to emphasize on the message so that I can continue to push my music and my message and those things that people actually need in life.
Absolutely. And I see it. I see it. Absolutely. Now, going along with all of this, I mean, no, we touched on it a little bit before. And by the way, hello, Bob Kettrick, if you're still there, I see you up there. This is Kira. She's She's got some really interesting courses on how to promote music. And I just heard her say today online that it's not enough to just put it through CD Baby and put it on YouTube and the other 350 streaming platforms that it goes to. That it's a business, and that your music, believe it or not, if you want to be successful at it, it has to be promoted. And I don't know, a lot of people like myself just don't know how to promote. Well, I do now, thanks, Kira, but they don't know, just coming off of recording songs, what it means to actually put the work in to get the kind of hits and returns on your music through your website, etc. And it takes courses, and it takes someone teaching you how, because it take a whole lot longer if you're going to go on YouTube and try to get a video that tells you how to do this. And Kira does it extremely well. We've had a few disagreements about these things, but in the end, she's tried and true. So it's hard
You know
to.
what it is just sometimes when people are, especially with music, when people are, they're writers and they're super sensitive to what they're doing, and sometimes the way that is the right way, which I've struggled with this so much with Shad, but the right way is a little bit stressful sometimes because we're married to what we know or what we think we know. And so when you're being told you're doing something wrong, or you're being told something else that you didn't think, that you don't agree with at the moment, it's really hard to accept it without a disagreement, because you're like, wait a sec, this doesn't make sense. All the things that you have said are totally expected.
Yeah.
Like any kind of tension or any kind of resistance, anything, it's because you are, sensitive to your music and it's important to you. So you will argue with anybody to make sure that, you feel like you're doing the right things for your craft.
Right. And not like that, but I had some doubts. I mean, there are certain things I won't do. I know you teach that, some certain things that I won't do, because I feel like it's yeah, I know my audience, and I know the people I'm dealing with well enough to know that that irritates them. So there are things here and there that I kind of juggle and correct and mold to fit who I'm talking to and to the people that I'm working with, and little shortcuts here and there, little tweaks here and there, and it works. It works. It really works. And so I think the moral of the story is Kira is the kind of person who has the information to help you develop. I mean, when I started, I think it was July when we started our lessons, and I now have a mature musician group. I think it's over 400 people at this point. I think it's getting on to 500. I don't know. I haven't looked at it lately. And I have a page called Country Hot Music by Joy LaJoie, and that also is increasing. But thanks to Kira again, it's because I was putting ads in there, not $10, $15, and it's amazing how many people see that page because of something like that, right?
You're branding yourself.
Right. So tell me, how
Go ahead.
many? Tell me how many people are actually on You Are Not Alone. It's in the thousands, right?
No, not yet. It's at 676 people.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And you were telling us on the independent musicians page that you were running this morning that how many views did you have on Facebook for the song, the duet that you did with the young man? I don't remember his name.
His name's Caleb Twidwell, and
Yeah.
I believe on Facebook I had close to 100,000 or 200,000,
I can't
and then
even
on
imagine.
and then on YouTube it's at 121,000 views, and it's just because it's hit like a plateau because it went up, there was momentum. It's hit a plateau now, so it probably goes up 100 views every day.
All right. And she was explaining why. I don't want to give away anything. So if you want to answer that question, you can. But you were talking about a little method there about why you have so many and what happens when it plateaus.
Yeah, you build momentum, and then you build the momentum before the song is released. You don't just post once, you just post every single day. You need to post to the extent where you feel like you're going to annoy someone. Here's why: because you're probably not annoying somebody, because you're doubting yourself and you're thinking, oh no, someone's not going to like this. But here's the deal: when you're a musician, your Facebook should only be followers of you and fans. If someone, or in family and friends, if someone's annoyed of you, they can just unfriend you. Bye bye, see ya. It's like you're here for me to promote stuff so you can listen to it. If you have a problem, leave. Like you're not my fan. So um I guess it's about building momentum so that when you release it, it grows and grows. Like my video "Come Home" right now has over 1,000 views just in 10 days. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot of local. Yeah, I don't really know a ton. I know some local artists that are doing this, but we're all using strategy. We're not just releasing and being like, all right, well, all these people should like it, and thousands of people are going to watch because I released it. And you know what? You can go and spend $2,500 on a video and it get 5 views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the strategy is building momentum. And then when the momentum starts slowing down, then you push it through other ways. But right now, we're getting about 100 a day organically, so we're not putting anything into it. It's just growing by itself.
That's a lot, and that's amazing. I mean, I'm watching my growth, and I don't have quite as much time as you to do all this. I'm a little slower than you are. I don't know warp speed. I don't know how to get it, where to buy it. But yeah, it can be an overwhelming job because it's a constant. It's something you have to do constantly. It's not something you can just do once and then walk away. Not if you want the kind of results that you're getting at this point. And how long do you think that you've been doing this, promoting? I know your album came out not too long ago, actually, last year sometime, or
Yeah, last Christmas.
this year. Okay, yeah, and
Christmas, or was it the Christmas before that? I don't even know.
yeah, it wasn't too long ago, or at least time goes by faster for me or something. But yeah, and since then, the momentum is amazing. I mean, I just watched the stuff that you're doing online and thinking, "Holy cow, I need two of me to be like her."
You know what? I've gotten destroyed because one thing I learned in church the other day was don't identify yourself in what you accomplish. Identify yourself in Christ, right? I believe in Jesus and stuff like that. But if you don't believe in Jesus, don't identify yourself as what you accomplish. Don't identify yourself as tasks. That's not who you are. And so something that I struggled with was I'm not good enough unless I complete all this stuff. And that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
true. You can't have that mindset. So I went 100 miles per hour with my head cut off like a chicken. But now I've slowed down because now I'm able to pay more attention to every little thing that I'm doing instead of just rushing through everything just to say, I got 20 things done today. Now those 20 things I probably didn't do 100% on each one.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I just think it's amazing, and yeah, I get it. I just had a new song come out on Friday. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but it's called "God, Are You
I
Listening?"
heard it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I get where you're coming from there
You have
too.
some really good quality songs.
Thank you, thank you. So do you. I listen to them, and I'm blown away by what is that song? Mary, Did You Know, which is one of my favorite Christmas songs. Oh, my Lord. If anybody wants to hear the range of your voice, that is the perfect song to listen to. It's amazing. It's amazing.
For that.
So now that you have, I noticed that you did something else too. You were giving a vigil, some kind of candlelight service. Can you explain a little bit about what that was all about? I didn't get to see it, but I know you're doing it.
Look at my hair.
Yeah, look at mine. Wow. It's cute.
All right. We just recorded it in the studio, and I got a bunch of candles, and I made a cross out of the candles, and then I just had like a cross that was like a crystal cross, and then I just lit candles around that, and then I had one candle that was long with Mary on it, and I just lit that. I lit that for some scenes, and then I blew it out at the end. So very simple to make, but it looks really cool. I really actually, I'm very proud of what it looks like.
Well, I'm hoping that he's listening. God, are you listening? I just hope he is. So, there's something else I was wondering about that I didn't really ever talk to you about, but that was, how all this was fleshing out, especially since it was COVID and we were locked down and musicians weren't making money and yeah.
I think I got approved for unemployment for a little bit.
Yeah, some others did too. Yeah, that helps, right?
Oh my gosh, that year sucked. I hated everything about it. I hated everything. That's when everyone started getting divided. That's when a whole bunch of the media was lying. I don't care what anybody says. The media is lying on a lot of stuff. Now, I'm not going to sit there and like say certain things that they're lying on, but they're lying. It's media. And if you think that they're not lying about anything, I'm not going to call anybody names, but use your brain. Come on, it's
Right.
media. And so, like, you're just sitting there watching that all year and all these people not being able to see each other. And then everyone's identified now by their beliefs. And it's like, if someone disagrees, I mean, the reason I'm saying this is because that whole year was a buildup to what we have this year. And this year, people are divided. And if you have any different opinion than somebody else, then, you better be prepared to either get shot or get hurt. There's nothing in between. I don't hear anybody really saying, "Oh, that's okay. You know what? I'm glad that we disagree on this and we're totally fine. Like we're still friends." No, mostly you hear, "You're not vaccinated? Oh, can't see you." And I'm like, "Okay, now I'm going to say this, but I'm vaccinated, blah, 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 whatever." But I still don't agree with the fact that I'm identified by my vaccination when they told us in the beginning that the masks were going to protect us. So the thing that I just get mind blown about is just, I don't know what to believe anymore. And the division that's happening in this world is ridiculous. And not only that, but people who do music for a living lost their job for a full year. It was one of the hardest years, and then it kind of what's it called, it went into this year, and now it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I mean, I'm not going to sit here and talk politics, but I'm just saying, I don't know, I'm just saying there's a lot that I disagree with and a lot that people are like, even I'm pissing people off right now, you know what I mean, just because
well, so did my song probably.
You know what I mean? It's just like, I can't have an opinion if someone disagrees with it. And whether I'm Trump or Biden, or whether I'm vaccine or non-vaccine, whatever, those determine the division. And families and friends, people that have had friends for years are now not talking because of one belief. Really? You're going to let the government and the media do this to you? I mean, what happened to love and kindness? It's gone.
Well, in some ways it is, and yes, that's what was the impetus to write my songs. So I understand. But we've come through a lot as a country, and we've managed to screw up a lot of things over the years. And I say that meaning me because I've been around for a long time, and so I've been through a lot of presidents. And a lot of things have happened, and it always seems like we end up on our feet. I mean, we get things done eventually. We might do them wrong to begin with, but eventually we do them right. It may take us some years before that happens, but yeah. So I get it. Yeah. And I have a musician friend who I don't agree with him at all. And we are still friends. I mean, it has nothing to do with what he thinks, or it's our music binds us. And he gives jams, and he appreciates it's my music. I appreciate his, and the politics of it. That's his personal thing. It doesn't affect our friendship. Period.
Good. See, that's a mature musician right there.
Well, hope so.
Hey
So
Joy, I before you ask another question, I do have to go in about 2 minutes.
yeah, I know. You said about two, three. Oh, it's four. When we started at four, I thought it was 4:45. But there's one last thing I do want to ask you about, because not only do you need help promoting your music and getting out there, which you have done and shown us how to do as a role model, but this thing about what is the word, booker for bands? You are this, and you're doing this, and you're putting out tweets and so forth on Facebook about uh, how successful this has been for you. Would you like to explain that a little bit and what you actually do, and all the other things that you do? Can you explain this one to us and how it works?
I'm gonna make this super super simple because I don't want to like talk too much about myself in detail. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't care. I'm not hiding anything. It's just
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
to be simple.
yeah.
And I focus on because I have a movement called You Are Not Alone. So I book other bands to join that movement with me. And so I'm like booked out until February with shows for me and other people called You Are Not Alone. And so I do that and then I book bigger shows. I market everything by myself and then I book bigger shows with bands that'll take it seriously and market themselves, not just like post it on social media a couple times and expect people to come because you exist. Like, no, it's about going and working every single day until the show date and then seeing your results. So I'm a booker, I'm a musician, I
Singer, songwriter.
yeah, I'm a coach. So I guess the main three things is I'm a booker, I'm a coach, and a musician.
Well, I think I'd like to flesh that out and say you're a singer, independent singer, songwriter, and musician at the height of where you're going. And I hope you can keep that momentum going. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and praying, and I'm following right behind in your footsteps as best I can. So I do appreciate the time that you've had with us, Kara. I hope other people can look at this and take something out of it. There are, I'm sure, other people out there who do the same kind of thing as far as showing people how to market and etc. But the thing is, you want somebody you can trust, and you want somebody that's in it for you, not in it for themselves. I mean, obviously, you're going to get paid for it. That's part of business, but it's important to be able to trust the people that are helping you with this, because you don't want to go down the wrong path.
Not at all. No, like that. You wanna invest in yourself regardless, whether that's like me or Spotify or trainings or whatever. There's a saying that Shad always says, and it says, "You know how to make $1 million in the industry? You start with 2 million."
Exactly. I think I'm not that high, but I'm high enough. I spent enough. So, all right. Well, to close this, what is the biggest thing coming up in the future that we need to watch for? Uh, Project or music or album, or what are you doing?
If I do this, I get a facelift.
No, I need a facelift.
Skinnier, fatter. Skinnier, fatter. I have a show January 28th at the Real Art. We're gonna have a ton of people. Like We have the Seattle Nirvana tribute band. We have the Elvis tribute band, and then me. But we're also connected with big networks. We expect to sell this event out because of the networks we're plugged into, like big networks. Like one of them is the National Association of Mental Illness, and they're going to promote it to everybody in their system because they want to help support the movement. And then we have another guy that's going to promote to 2,000 of his followers, and then I have an email list, and then I have social media, and then there's ads, and then the other two bands created high energy ads, and they're running ads. You don't just post it on social media and expect people to show up. If you do that, you're not being serious enough. You gotta like get people there. And how do you do it? You develop relationships and conversations.
Absolutely. So I guess that kind of brings us to a close. I hate to leave this. I've been having a lot of fun, and I understand the importance of things that you're doing to help other musicians. And
I had a lot of fun too. This is probably the best interview I've ever had.
all right, thank you. So anyway, I hope to see you in the future. I still have some things I'm struggling with, but as far as how to do like videos and so forth, and you want me to send you a video, and I'm going to do that. But it is, the platform is what I'm working on. What's the best platform to do it? But anyway, thank you so much for your time, Kira. Everybody out there who will listen later or have joined us today, I do want to thank you for coming into the group and watching our interview with Kira Marie. Kira
Marie.
Well, you got a new name.
Kira Marie. I like it.
Well, you said something about Mary. It must have stuck.
Yeah, it was Mary. Did you know? Kira Mary. Just call me that.
All right, Kara, well, you have a good rest of your day, and thank you again. And hopefully at some other time you can come back and tell us what you're up to, because I'm sure it'll be totally different.
Yeah.
All right. Heads up, girl. You love you, and you have a good rest of your day. Goodbye, folks. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.